Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to watch a recap of Camp Canopy 2021 and the graduation and award ceremony. My name is Marnie Tichnell. I'm with the Ohio State University Extension as the State Wildlife Program Specialist. I'm one of the co-directors of camp, and I'm the one that's going to be narrating the video today. Now, normally we would show this video on the last day of camp during our graduation and award ceremony, so we could share with the parents and sponsors how the campers spent the week. However, due to COVID restrictions this year, it was a smaller, shorter ceremony with just our campers. But we will have some clips that we recorded at the end of this presentation. Well, let's get started. We had a great week at camp, thanks in large part to the smiling faces you see here. Many of our campers were first years this year, and together with our returning campers, they were a really smart group. They were attentive in class, they asked great questions, and we hope to see many of them again next year. Now, if you only got a brief look at FFA Camp Muskegon while you dropped your camper off, I'll just say that it is the perfect place for a week of forestry, wildlife, and aquatic related courses. The lake is surrounded by woods, as you can see here in this picture, and it's those woods in which the campers spend most of their time during the week. Quickly, I want to share just a little bit of history about Camp Canopy. Camp is nearly 70 years old. It has gone through several name changes over the years, but nonetheless, it has graduated thousands of young adults, and it's gone by as I said, several different name changes, and but despite that, what we really center on is providing education on forestry and wildlife. Camp Canopy is generously sponsored by the Ohio Forestry Association Foundation, and it's held every year, as I said, at FFA Camp Muskegon. I want to introduce my other co-directors and the camp committee, which is made up of natural resources professionals from different agencies and organizations. So my two co-directors, as you see here on the screen, are from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. Jeremy Scherf is from the Division of Forestry, and Emily Hardesty is with the Division of Wildlife. And here's the rest of our committee. I said earlier that camp is sponsored by the Ohio Forestry Association Foundation, which is the nonprofit arm of the Ohio Forestry Association. So Brad Perkins, who is the executive director of the Ohio Forestry Association, and Gayla Fleming, who is the event manager, they are both on our committee. We also have a consulting forester, Jake Peer, and a wildlife and forestry specialist, Eric Hayes, who works for the Soil and Water Conservation District in Athens County. Now, each one of us brings something unique to the team, and I don't think camp would be successful without all of us working together. And of course, we are not the only ones making camp happen. We have a great partnership with FFA Camp Muskegon. Big thanks to Todd Davis, Jody, Clover, and all of our counselors this year, Paige, Chloe, Lindsay, Mariah, Bob, Joe, Cheyenne, Haley, and Connor. We are always fortunate to have fantastic counselors at camp every year, and this year was no exception. We also have several folks that were with us all week. Max Shrimp and Dave Woodring, also known by us at camp as Super Dave. They taught with us all week alongside over 30 other instructors that are natural resources professionals from around the state. So it takes a lot of people to put this camp on. So here are some of our camp staff after the traditional pie in the face competition. This year, whichever kids attended study session the most were entered into a drawing to choose a counselor to pie in the face. Thankfully, our counselors are good sports about it. We have several goals when it comes to camp. We want our campers to learn more about Ohio's natural resources and how they are managed. We also want this time at camp to be spent outdoors, maybe a bit more disconnected from cell phones and other devices. We also want to offer the chance for those campers with a real interest in a career in natural resources. We want to offer them an opportunity to learn more about that career and to speak with professionals in the field about any questions that they might have. And finally, of course, we want them to have a good time and make new friends and hopefully make some lasting friendships. All right, so let's do a quick run through of your campers week at camp. Sunday was the first day. Campers were dropped off. They got their gear into their dorms, and they got to know the members of their leaf groups. So campers at Camp Canopy are always separated into small groups called leaf groups. Red oak, buckeye, maple, you get the idea. Monday is the first official day of classes. So campers attended 3 classes on Monday, one of which is Adventure Valley. And the goal of Adventure Valley is for each leaf group to learn how to work together to solve problems. They also have Dendrology on Monday, which is the study of trees. Campers learn how to identify 20+ trees during their Dendrology class, which they can later study during the week in study session. And that's what you're looking at here in these pictures. And if I have some campers and others who taught at camp, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, I don't think that these pictures are from this year. Well, you'd be correct. Sadly, we failed to snap pictures of study session this year. It was a busy year, but this is basically what it looks like. The last class on Monday was wildlife management. Now, in the past, we've taught this class quite a few different ways, but this year, campers were all residents of a community that was having issues with deer damage. So they were charged with coming up with a solution to said damage. And they learned a lot about deer, but in this class, they also learned that a big part of wildlife management is working with people. On to Tuesday. So campers attended stream monitoring, which is one of my favorite classes because they get to search for salamanders. And that's what they're doing here in this picture. And they also learn about stream ecology and conservation measures to protect streams. We always have a rotating class on Tuesday. Some years we go birding. It's a rotating wildlife class. So sometimes we go birding. Other years we learn about raptors and reptiles, amphibians, or even mammals. This year, we learned how researchers and biologists monitor wildlife. In this first picture, I'm showing campers a mist net, which is a tool used to capture birds and bats. Campers also learned about tracks and how to use binoculars. And we also learned about trail cameras and how they can be used to not only monitor game on properties, but also how they are used in research to monitor a variety of wildlife species like this bobcat, you can see right here. Now, as real as that looks, it is just a mounted bobcat, so it's not actually real, but we did leave the camera up for the rest of the week just to see if we would capture any wildlife on the camera. And we did end up getting a lot of pictures of campers. Some knew the camera was there, most did not, but we did detect something unexpected, whatever this is. Biologists are studying this string of photos, and they're trying to determine the relationship and odd behaviors occurring between these 2 species. So we'll keep you posted on what is discovered. Now, to wrap up Tuesday's classes, we have measurements. In this class, campers learn how all about the measurements that foresters take to determine lots of different things in a forest, such as how much volume is in a tree, how many trees are in an acre, how tall a tree is, and how many logs are in it. Campers are each given a tree measuring stick, also known as a Biltmore stick, when they arrive at camp. And it is used in this class, as you can see from this picture. On Wednesday, campers attended forest ecology, and here you see Super Dave teaching about how trees grow. Geology was also on Wednesday, and this was a new class for us, and it was fascinating. There's always so much to learn about what is below our feet and the history of how our forest and land was formed. So I think this is definitely a class that we will be repeating in the future. Also on Wednesday was Silviculture, which is the art and science of growing trees. And this really builds on what the campers learned in ecology, in dendrology, and in many of their classes all week, or up to this day. So we discuss how forests grow, how foresters and biologists manipulate light to achieve desired conditions. Campers also learn about how we manage forests sustainably and how forests are managed to create habitat for different wildlife species. Thursday is the last day of classes, and they are only in classes in the morning. So campers switch between resource management and forest products. And here you're looking at resource management. And in this class, the campers were formed into commodity groups who then presented proposals on how the camp and the surrounding land might be managed. I helped with this class this year, and I'll say some groups came up with some pretty good ideas. I was impressed. And then the other class on Thursday morning was forest products. Campers were able to watch a portable sawmill in action, which is what you're looking at this picture. They also learned about specialty forest products like maple syrup and how to identify wood from different tree species. So those were classes, but they weren't in classes all day. Okay, each day they had recreation breaks where they could play sports, go fishing, swim in the lake, go canoeing or kayaking, and more. We also had guided activities almost every day, like this boat float, where they got to go a little bit further along the lake than they wanted to. And then we had a couple of birding hikes throughout the week as well. On Tuesday and Wednesday, campers could attend the archery and rifle range during their recreation breaks. And we had, I want to say, about 40 campers attend. And then each day there was also a planned activity such as large group games, scavenger hunts, a campfire and night hike, a beach party, a water carnival. We had music and dancing to wrap up the week on Thursday evening as well. Wow, it sounds like a lot when I list it all out. So if your camper was tired when they got home from camp, now you know why. We kept them busy. Also during the recreation breaks, campers had the opportunity to attend study session. I mentioned this earlier, but this is where us co-directors mostly hung out to help campers with their Leaf ID and to answer any questions they have or had about class materials. The study session, it's just what it sounds like. It's a chance to study the week's materials. And one of the reasons to study was to ace the test on Friday. So finally we get to Friday, the last day of camp. Campers spent the morning taking a 50-question multiple choice test, as well as a leaf test where they have to identify 20 leaves that they learned during Dendrology, their first full day of camp. So why the test? Well, it's a nice way for us to gauge what they've learned, but for the campers themselves, it's how they compete for scholarships to Ohio colleges and universities. So this year we offered 8 scholarships totaling $8,250. The campers overall did really well on the test this year. 21 got all 20 leaves correct, and 25 campers scored an A on the test. So really, we were really proud of all of our campers and how well they did with the test this year. All of the campers received a certificate of attendance, and our top 10 were brought to the front of the room during our graduation and award ceremony on Friday afternoon for recognition. And we recorded the live presentation of the scholarships, which I'd like to play for you next.
This time, we had a lot of top scores on our test, and you guys haven't gotten your certificate yet. And so I think we're going to do the top 10. Is that right? We're going to start from number 10 and work our way up.
Well, we would normally do that, but we also have our scholarships coming out. We had 8 this year, and some of our campers that qualified for a scholarship passed it on to campers below them, which is very kind. So we're going to bring up a couple of our campers that got some scholarships that are not in the top 10 because they, of course, deserve to be recognized. So there was a three-way tie between Aaron Combs, Clarissa Zadar, and Gretchen Search, and Bo Young. and they all passed except for Aaron Combs on the Zane State Scholarship. So Aaron, wherever you are, come on up.
Okay, so finishing in 11th place after the tiebreakers and all that, with scholarship from Zane State is Emma Murray. Okay, so our 10th place person, but who passed on the scholarship because he was going someplace that we're planning on doing something we didn't have a scholarship left for, is Alden Clark. And in 9th place, also passing on the scholarships on the left, is Allison Sponsler. And also passing on the scholarship and finishing in what we have 8th place. 8th place, Devin Rivera. So, 7th place with a $1,000 scholarship to Hockey College is Lily McGraw. And finishing, did I say that? 6th now? 6th place, Sam Smith with a $1,000 scholarship to Ohio State University. Place with a $1,250 scholarship to Ohio State University, Tessa Blue. In 4th place, the maximum scholarship this time is Kaylee Simpson.
Yes!
In 3rd place, with a $500 scholarship from the Northeast Ohio Forestry Association, which can be used at any school as long as they're going into a natural resource field, Robert Davis. What's Robert?
Robert.
Okay, we're not done. 2nd place with a $1,000 scholarship from Parkman College, Sam Fox. So we have one more person out there who hasn't gotten a certificate, but also gets a scholarship. And this was our highest scoring person of this week with 97 out of 100, I believe it was. And a scholarship to, from the Ohio Forestry Association of $1,000 that can be used in a natural resource field at any college, Mackenzie Morris.
So one other thing that our top 10 campers are going to get is my boss, the chief of the High Division of Forestry, bought 10 diameter tapes. We use these to measure the diameter of trees when we're working in wood. So hopefully you guys will find some use out of these.
So if you missed that at the end, Jeremy was passing out diameter tapes to each of the top 10 that were generously given by the chief of the Division of Forestry. So big congrats to the top 10 scorers and all of our scholarship winners once again. Finally, I'd like to share a few words, and these were, well, it's not me, it's the camp staff sharing these words. And again, this is a recording from the graduation and award ceremony. And you're gonna watch each of the camp counselors share what their favorite moment was at Camp Canopy this year. And then at the end of this video, you're also going to see which campers were presented with the Camper of the Year award.
Thank you so much for a great week. I want to say thank you to Paige, Chloe, Lindsay, Cheyenne, Joe, Fern, Bob, Connor, and Haley. And I don't think I missed anybody. And if I did, scared, didn't want to move, didn't want to talk, to where you are now in such a good team unit. So that kind of is my highlight in the beach party. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to these guys to kind of share their highlight of the week.
So my highlight of the week was definitely hanging out with the elms. If it was the drastic survival game or the night hike, we had so much fun at every meal, and I'll miss you guys.
Miss you too, Paige.
I had a very interesting week, but I loved my group, the Cherries. Mealtime was my favorite, but then beach party, getting to see you smile and dance for the first time was great. I loved it.
Alrighty, my highlight of the week by far was just getting to know the Red Oaks. I could not have asked for a better group. Somehow, every day, every meal, I was telling a story about my ex or my first kiss. I don't know, you might have just squeezed it out of me. But it was a very, very fun, interesting week, so thank you guys. I'll miss you.
All right. That's a lot. So I had the Buckeyes, and I truly enjoyed getting to know you all, watching that transformation from the first day when we all stood there and said, this can be as awkward as long as we make it, to now you guys are quite the force to be reckoned with as a team together. Nobody compares, and I really enjoyed getting to spend time with you, sharing a lot of laughs with you, and just all of that. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your summer.
My highlight of the week would have to be the beach party. Hanging out with all you guys, listening to some awesome jams put on by Bob over here. Making s'mores, eating them, it was a great time. Joe!
All right, I had the Maples, Team Maple. The highlight of my week was just definitely hanging out, watching you guys grow together, form the bonds, all of you.
Alright, so my highlight of the week is when I was with Dwight Pine, and we were out on our night hike, and we were watching the fireflies. It's the only time we actually just was quiet and not focusing on how we are going to win. So I like that. That's good.
Okay, so definitely my highlight of the week was hanging out with my walnuts and then seeing them go when we were hanging out on Bluegill Rock, and I would definitely ask them one question, and they were like, yeah. And that was it. And so today, I couldn't get them to stop talking, so I could tell them where they needed to go and do all these different things and cleaning up our place, because we were just too busy hanging out and having a great time. So, I'm just really happy that you guys got to that point.
So my favorite time, I'm also the walnuts, okay? So my favorite time was the night hike, and from that point on was when I really couldn't get you guys, you were already on your own, you figured out your spot in the group. And for me, when I was a camper, I couldn't talk to anybody for the first 3 hours but Marty, okay? So totally felt that. But I really liked it when you guys came together, and I liked getting to know all of you. So, thank you.
Every year, we, throughout the week, we're watching you. Not, that was a little creepy. We're paying attention to, how you were behaving and how you act in class and how kind you are to your fellow campers. And we pick campers of the year. We pick a male and a female. So our campers of the year are Henry is our boy and Sam Smith is our lady.
Okay, and that wraps up this presentation. Thank you so much to Camp FFA or FFA Camp Muskegum for all of your support, to the Ohio Forestry Association Foundation, to the many instructors that came out to teach, and to the parents and the sponsors that helped to get all these fabulous campers to camp this year. And we did have fabulous campers this year. So big thanks to all of you for being you and making camp so awesome for all of us. We hope all of you come back next year. And until then, stay in touch. You can sign up for our e-newsletter, Camp Canopy is Calling, on our website at www.campcanopy.com. And you can also find us on Facebook, where we've posted many of the pictures you saw in this presentation and more. If that's not enough and you can't wait until next year to learn more about forestry and wildlife, you can check out our 2020 virtual camp if you haven't already. We created a slew of online videos for campers to watch, and we shared additional videos that were created from other natural resources or by other natural resources professionals when we had to cancel camp in 2020. So, you know, we took our cameras or phones out into the woods and filmed, trying to make it as real as possible. We even had a campfire complete with camp songs with Super Dave. So all those videos are still available to view, and they're posted on our website. So thanks again, and we hope to see you next year.